I've devoted half my life to running, trying to become a professional and even moving to Japan to pursue the marathon dream. Now the problem with that, I actually don't think I'm built for running. If you look at the world's best marathoners, they all have very similar body types, similar strengths, similar genetics. Then there's me. I somehow managed to grind out a 2:14 marathon, but if my goal was simply to become the best athlete possible, then I think I've chosen the wrong sport entirely. So I'm back in the hometown of Nanyo after my tropical getaway to Okinawa. I gotta say though, even back here, it's just as hot. Summer is properly hit, but I'd say the biggest difference out here is just the lack of people. I hadn't realised how much of a tourist spot Okinawa was. So then you really notice coming back here just how quiet it is. Like there is not anyone in sight. This is actually right near the station, almost in the heart of town, you could say. I think being here, like living up in Nanyo, Yamagata, the countryside, is great when you're running, you're smashing training. That's like the obvious main thing. That's the main reason I even came here. But if you can't run, if you're injured, then there really isn't a lot to do. When you can see this is the popping centre of town. We got literally the main station right there. So I am desperate to get back to running. Obviously, I was smashing the biking when I was in Okinawa, and I think today I'm gonna attempt a comeback run. You know, I've been suffering with this SI joint problem in my back. It's been a nightmare for about 6 months. I pretty much haven't ran properly, haven't been able to put any consistent training together during that time. But the real discussion point in this video that I wanted to get into, I think it's an interesting one, and it really comes down to the hard work versus talent debate. I wanted to get into what that actually means and how I think, even though I've ran this 2:14 marathon, I'm not actually built for running. Really, I think I'm a fighter. I should be out there scrapping, throwing hands. That's what I'm built for. God, even just doing a tiny bit of shadow boxing like that, I can feel the adrenaline spiking, my fighting instincts kicking in. Because maybe I'm just a bit psychotic, but the kick I get out of fighting MMA, like back in the day, I used to train that on and off since about the age of 15. People that don't know, I went all in on running when I was 25, but during like secondary school, high school, and then through uni, I was kind of bouncing between both. And you hear people talk about a runner's high. Well, let me say, the high you get from fighting is completely incomparable. No other sport on earth can replicate that. But it's got to be something about that natural human instinct where the fight or flight kicks in. And for me, I almost love the danger of it. It's like this person's trying to hurt me, I'm trying to defend myself. So I think I've always had a bit of a fighter within me, but that's not to say I wasn't talented at running. I've said before that I'm the world's least talented pro runner, and maybe compared to the other top guys, yeah, I am. But back in school, without any training, I'd win the first couple of school races I did against the other local schools. And I think after going to a club within a few years, maybe I was kind of top 20 in my age group for national cross country. This is when I'm maybe 12, 13, that kind of thing. But I definitely realized as I was training that I probably didn't have that absolute top speed, that natural wheels that you need to be able to compete at the top level. And that's something that training can never fix. That's just purely down to the genetics of running, unfortunately. But we'll come back to that later, because as the distances go up, that can definitely be overcome by putting in some monster mileage, which I'll hopefully be doing later in this video. But first, I have to survive this somewhat compromising position I seem to have found myself in. God, the things we do for running, eh? But I luckily made it through and headed over to a local cafe for a quick editing sesh. And clearly I've not left Okinawa behind, because I couldn't resist this cheeky Asahi bowl to go along with my salted caramel latte. Not the easiest to find out here in the countryside, but I tell you what, it was beautiful stuff. Now I need to break the fourth wall here as I come live, but I've actually got a big announcement. I'm currently recruiting for a Ran to Japan social media editor. This is your chance. If you've ever wanted to join the RTJ team, then it could be you whipping up some videos right here. You could be taking over all this juicy editing here. So if you're an experienced editor or you know anyone that is, then I'll leave a little link down below, an application link. You can get on there, submit all the details. I've got all the information about the role there, but serious inquiries only. Right, that's enough interruption. I think we've got to get back to this video. Oh, and just hit that subscribe button while you're here. Come on. All right, see you there. So I finished up with my massage here in Kaminoyama. I thought we'd pick up the discussion right here next to the tourist spot, the castle right behind me. Oh, and that is a cool view right there. In fact, you know when I filmed the mighty exoskeleton video, that was up there in the mountains of Zaol. So that's this really famous kind of skiing place, onsen place, and also a great training camp location. So hopefully I'll be heading up there in the summer, get a little bit of altitude training in. But all this running I'm doing, is it all for nothing? Does my real potential actually lie in a different sport completely? So the first time I think I realized that actually I could go further in MMA than I ever could running, that probably I had more talent for that, it was when I actually started training MMA. So I was probably about 15 when I started going to this club. And within a few months maybe of training, I was able to hold my own with professional fighters at this gym who've been doing it for 10 plus years. They had all the experience, all the skills, but I guess maybe because of my natural endurance and the kind of attitude, maybe just, that never quit, that never give up fighter mentality, I could survive these rounds of sparring. And definitely one time stands out the most, where I was doing some jiu-jitsu, some groundwork with this guy, and he caught me in a submission, a triangle choke. And that can put you to sleep in about 8 seconds if it's in properly. I think it wasn't quite tight enough to fully put me out, but it was definitely cutting off a lot of the blood supply to my brain. This was just training, this wasn't a fight or anything. I should have just tapped out, be like, on to the next round. But I just did not want to quit. And I ended up being in this choke for about 2 or 3 minutes, like constantly rolling out of it. Then he put me in an arm bar and then back to the choke. And eventually I think I managed to escape. But I'd been in that choke for so long that I remember the next day going to school and I had all these burst blood vessels all over my face. All these little capillaries, veins had popped in my face, in my head, just because I'd been squeezed in this choke for so long. So the best thing about fighting is that through sheer perseverance and mindset, you can overcome a massive difference in ability. You've always got that fighter's chance. But in running, if 2 people have put in the same amount of training, the more talented one will always win in a race. 100 times out of 100. There's just no getting over that fact. Now, I mentioned this during the recent Ekiden video, but if you look at the way that I'm built compared to the Japanese runners, and obviously against like the top East Africans as well, I'm just so much bigger naturally. Like there's nothing you can do about that. The genetics do just play such a big part when it comes to competing at like a world-class level in any sport. And for running, you do just have to have that stick-thin build. Even compared to Western runners that I'm running against at a similar point, similar level to me, I still am a lot bigger. I'm carrying a lot of extra muscle, which I just cannot cut. I've had people ask me like, oh, why don't you just lose weight? Yeah, easier said than done, mate. You know, from when I started running seriously, I had 8 months off from a hip surgery and I was 67 kg when I started my first run back. That's because I'd done about 4 hours of biking every single day to try and get fit, try and get as lean as possible. But then since then, I moved to Japan. 3 years later, after averaging 30k of running every single day, guess what my weight is? 67 kg. That's it. That's clearly the homeostasis, the place where my body is able to maintain the mileage and also stay healthy. I cannot get any lower. It doesn't matter how many pavements I pound. I'm not going to become one of those skinny, stick-thin runners that I'm running next to in races. It's just physically impossible. But don't get me wrong, you can get to a very high level in the sport without looking like that. There are a few cases of marathoners a similar size to me, like Stephen Scullion, for example, who have managed to dip under 210. But if you look at the top end of any major marathon in the world, then the average weight is going to be around 50 to 55 kg. And I challenge you to find an Olympian with thunder thighs the size of mine. So I guess all hope is lost then. I'm not built for it, so why don't I just quit the sport now? Well, there's a very important missing piece of the puzzle that we need to discuss, so let's head back to the Monk Mansion. Now, I just swung by the post office to pick up a parcel that I'd missed, and I thought we'd unbox it now because it turns out to be a rather cheeky one. The guys at Chorus have just hooked me up with their new Jakob Ingebrigtsen edition, Pace 4. And the design on this looks like a bit of me. Obviously, Jakob Ingebrigtsen is an absolute legend. In the least noncy way possible. I've been watching him since he was about 12 years old. Shout out, let me know in the comments actually if anyone watches the Team Ingebrigtsen. One of the best running series of all time. Was following his whole family from when he was way back as a teenager to then just coming through, destroying the scene. But this is his brand new collaboration with Koros. Oh! That is a fresh design. You've got on the watch strap, it says fearless. I can see myself just rocking this casually as well. Forget the running, I just want to rep this on a day-to-day. Now my current Chorus fitness score is in the absolute bin right now. Got to be the lowest it's ever been with this lack of running recently. So I need to put this to use, get back to it soon. I'm loving this design though, looks unbelievably fresh. And I'll leave a little link down below if any of you want to pick up a Chorus yourself. But right, I think it's time for me to try out a run. God, it's been a few relentless weeks of rebuilding. Gone from the stage where I literally could not walk to then now I'm finally pain-free doing these exercises. So I'm just finishing off this set here, working on firing that hip, that glute there, getting that activated. Because at the moment, that's the problem. My body's actually moving quite well according to the physio, but this bad boy, the booty, is not working. And it's all just thunder thighs, as usual, that are taking the load. So that's put that strain on my back, loaded up that SI joint here. But right now, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm nervous though to go for this test jog. I've gone through arm infections, nearly losing this bad boy, had little niggles here and there, but no actual injury until this SI joint. It's crazy the run I've been on, I guess, without any problem. Like every other elite runner I know has had countless injuries and stuff. It's impossible to smash the high mileage, hit the hard training without that. But up until now, I'd been pretty lucky, I guess, with everything that had just gone so smoothly. And you need that consistency to be able to knock out PBs and stuff. But yeah, this year has been a bit of a nightmare. Like the back's been going for about 6 months since Valencia Marathon. And I'm in no rush, but let's go test it now. This is the first step of the comeback, the rebuild. Come on, let's go pound those pavements once again. So someone appears to have swapped the running footage of me with this crippled old man here. I look like I've been through a couple world wars here, the absolute state of me. But I'm sure I'll get that pop back eventually. The important thing is, how am I feeling? It's not like I'm unaware of my back right now. There's definitely still a lot of tightness, a lot of damage around there, but it's not a pain. I mean, compared to how bad it was before, it's a slight ache. So I'm gonna monitor it over this run, see how it feels then after as well. I'm just gonna go for like 2K now, and then I can assess, hopefully use this as the start of the building block, and then just each day gradually ramp it up. So I digged deep and kicked for home, leaving it all out there on the course to successfully dip under the 6-minute kilometre, 10-minute miling barrier. But what a battle it was. God, I am absolutely cooked. I'm not even joking. That was brutal. I was killing myself to get around that 2K. I'm more banged up now than I would be after a flat out race. It's not even close, just the deconditioning you get from not running. I fully understand why people that don't run don't enjoy running. Like if you're unfit, if you're not used to it, running is brutal. Like it's just not fun, even jogging. So it completely makes sense. Just the more you run, the more enjoyable running becomes, the quicker you get, the easier it gets. So the comeback's always the hardest stage, but I'll get there eventually. I mean, the way it feels now, it's gonna obviously be months, could be years, who knows, to get back, but I will get back and that sub 210 will be conquered. I'm telling you that right now. Now, the obvious question is, why did I stop MMA if I think I'm more suited to it? Now, I'm actually just sitting down to watch another sporting event. This is the UFC, which is still a regular, even though I don't train it anymore. I still just love watching fighting, and I stand by it. MMA, the UFC, is so much more entertaining than running. And I think that's the problem we've got almost in running, where a sport that's got crazy participation numbers, the most participated sport on earth actually, probably 100 times more runners out there than there is fighters, like people that are doing park runs and marathons and all this kind of thing. But somehow the UFC has 100 times more viewers than any pro running event. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. Actually, that's a whole video topic in itself that I want to discuss. We'll save that one for another time. But the UFC here, oh man, they know how to put on a show. So entertaining. And I'm interested in this one because we've got a Brit fighting, Arnold Allen. Come on, lad, let's go. In running, I think there's always going to be that end barrier where it doesn't matter how hard you train, at the end, you're going to reach your genetic limit because there's no skill involved in running. It's the most simple sport. You just go and it's how far you can run, how long you can last, what pace you can hit. In other sports, there's more unpredictability because it's not just about pure talent. There's so much skill involved, so much heart, so much mental. That it's like in fighting, you see guys that genetically aren't that gifted at all, that aren't the most skilled, like in other sports wouldn't stand a chance, but just by being absolute animals, psychos pretty much, having it up here, they can outperform people and reach a world-class stage. And it does make me wonder sometimes, like, oh, did I pick the wrong sport? Like, could that have been me at the UFC? Because there's just so much less of a talent barrier and so much more, it just comes down to who can put in the work and who wants it the most. So running in a way is a frustrating sport that you can only do as much as you can, and there's going to be that limit. But when it comes to pure enjoyment, I think for me, and actually the training to be able to put in that time, running always takes the top spot. Even though I know deep down I could go further in MMA, I'm more, I think, gifted. I've got that natural build, I've got that aggression. I didn't love the training enough, the endless drilling again and again and again. Like the fighting's the fun bit, but you got to go in every single day, put in the same technique, the same submissions, takedown defense, all of that. Whereas running, it's like, oh, I'll hit the roads and go out for a run any day of the week, and I love it. It's never like, oh, this feels like a chore to get out. So at the end of the day, you're always gonna go further, I think, in the thing that you enjoy. You've got to love doing what you're doing if you want to pursue a career in it and try and go as far as you can. So maybe it's true I picked the wrong sport, but that was actually the right decision, as I'd never have reached my full potential in MMA when I wasn't obsessed with the training enough to devote everything to it and see how far I could actually go. Marathon running rewards devotion, and I guess if you forget about the comparison to others and simply think, how much quicker can I get by putting in the work, then that's where the real fulfillment from the sport comes from. Now, people love to throw out those sayings like, hard work beats talent. I mean, it's not true, is it? At the end of the day, talent is the ultimate factor. But this is the important bit. Hard work raises your ceiling so you can get closer to your talent limit. That is a beautiful saying. Pen that one down. That is a Ran to Japan specialty quote right there. But I do think it's true. The way to unlock your full potential is by training hard. And that is where my motto came from. So we'll leave it there. This video has been a proper ramble to Japan, but I'm interested to hear your thoughts on the old talent versus hard work debate. Let me know in the comments what you think, but I will catch you in the next one. This has been Jake with Ran to Japan. Remember, train harder, not smarter.